Good morning and welcome. My name is Rick Todd and I am the worship associate for this morning and part of the team that is working to record and stream this service to all you out there. And I know you're out there and appreciate you and miss you all, and it's good to be here with you. We are an inclusive congregation that welcomes you as you are, inclusive of all your identities, complexities, and situations. We welcome your whole self, even if it isn't fully assembled, because we recognize that we are all a work in progress and that we are all in this together. The service is being posted on our YouTube page so that folks can watch it now or they can watch it later. Please feel free to share with your friends so that they can join us also.
Today's service is an exploration into the covenant we recite, specifically the line, "to serve humanity in fellowship." What have other notable humans said about this kind of service? Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" This is from Mother Teresa. If you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. Here are some words from Ralph Waldo Emerson. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. Writer Lynn Namka writes, "Love in action is service to the world." And this is a quote from Mohandas Gandhi. "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Finally, these words, "It isn't enough to talk about peace. One must believe in it. And it isn't enough to believe in it. One must work at it." Those were words from Eleanor Roosevelt.
We are called as Unitarian Universalists to build the beloved community where all are welcome as blessings. And the human family lives in forgiveness and grace, whole and reconciled. We know that this aim takes work, and so we are committed to live and behave as a community in covenant. Let's recite our covenant, our words of affirmation that articulate our guidelines and bind us together in community. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, do we unite in worship. Our guest minister, Reverend Mark, has provided some words for our chalice lighting. The word courage comes from the Latin cor, which means heart. According to poet Mark Nepo, the original use of the word courage meant to stand in one's core, a striking concept that reinforces the belief found in almost all traditions that living from the center is what enables us to face what life has to offer. To encourage means to hearten, to impart strength and confidence. This is our work as a religious community, to encourage one another, to be bold in engaging the world around us, as well as what scares us internally, to give one another the confidence and heart to live as fully as possible. And so with full hearts, we affirm our relationships with each other. We recognize our agency and connective power, and we accept our responsibility to be bold and courageous. We light this chalice, symbol of all we are, all that we have done together, and all that we will be, as our shared lives encourage those both within and beyond our congregation. We have a new mission. Please join me in saying these words together. Our spiritual community lives courage, nurtures wonder, inspires justice, includes all. For the next few months, we'll be taking a moment during each service to learn ideas to help us do the work of learning to be anti-racist. Today, Lydia Miller is going to talk to us about a characteristic of white supremacy culture, the worship of the written word.
Worship of the written word. When white supremacy culture is operating, if it's not in a memo, it doesn't exist. In this situation, the organization does not take into account or value other ways in which information gets shared. The result is that those with strong documentation and writing skills are more highly valued, even in an organization where the ability to relate to others is key to the mission. Here are some antidotes to the worship of the written word. We can take the time to analyze how people inside and outside the organization get and share information. We can figure out which things need to be written down and come up with alternative ways to document what is happening. We can work to recognize the contributions and skills that every person brings to the organization. For example, the ability to build relationships with those who are important to the organization's mission.
At this time of our service, we recognize the joys and concerns of the community. We're going to first light a candle this is a candle of joy for Wendy Clay and Michelle Alfredson, who are recovering from COVID-19. We're glad to hear that, Wendy and Michelle. And finally, we'd like to light a candle of concern. This is for our teachers and students. As we hear reports that there are pockets of positive tests and quarantines of teachers and students, we recognize and express our concern for the challenges that they face in getting the all-important job of educating our children up and running in these trying times. So a candle of concern for our teachers and students. And we light one final candle for those joys, those sorrows, those concerns not expressed today, but felt deeply in the heart.
I'd like to share a reflective reading. It's from someone whose words many of us have read. He was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by Nobel laureate, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Here are his simple words about today's topic, serving humanity. We talk about social service, service to the people, service to humanity, service to others who are far away, helping to bring peace to the world. But often we forget that it is the very people around us that we must live for first of all. If you cannot serve your wife or your husband or child or parent, how are you going to serve society? If you cannot make your own child happy, how do you expect to be able to make anyone else happy? If all our friends in the peace movement or in service communities of any kind do not love and help each other, whom can we love and help? The words of Thich Nhat Hanh.
Good morning, everyone. Children and young at heart, please gather around for a story. A farmer once had a donkey who was growing old and unable to work. Thinking that it was no longer worthwhile to feed the old donkey, the farmer became determined to put an end to him. The donkey sensed that something was amiss, and he ran away, thinking that he would go to Brementown and become a musician. He thought, "On the road to Brementown, a musician I will be." After he had traveled a long way, the donkey came upon a tired dog lying beside the road. He said, "What are you doing lying there, my friend?" "Alas, I am old and weak, and I can no longer hunt, so my master decided to do away with me. I ran away, but now I don't know what to do to make a living. The only thing I can do is bark." "Well," said the donkey, "you and your bark can join me. I'm off to become a town musician in Bremen." And when the dog joined him, they were, on the road to Brementown, a musician they would be. It was not long before they came upon a cat sitting in the road, looking mournful. "What's the matter with you?" said the donkey. "Why are you looking so sad?" "Oh," meowed the cat, "how can I be cheerful when my life is in danger? I am growing old and would rather lie about the fire than chase mice. So my mistress was resolved to send me away. I ran away first, but I don't know what to do to earn my food." "Well," said the donkey, "you are certainly a good singer. Come and join us. We are going to Bremen to become town musicians." The cat quickly agreed, and they were on the road to Brementown. Musicians they would be. Soon enough they came upon a rooster perched on a farmyard gate, screaming for all he was worth. "Cock-a-doodle-doo, woe is me, tomorrow they put me in a soup pot, whatever am I to do?" "You can certainly add something to the concert," said the donkey. He invited the rooster to join the group. In short order they were on the road to Brementown. Musicians they would be. The animals could not reach the town in one day, so they decided to settle in the forest for a night. The donkey and dog lay under a tree and the cat in the branches. The rooster flew to the topmost branch and had a look around. "There must be a house not far off," said the rooster, "for I can see a small light." Hungry and cold, all four animals agreed to go and see if they might find some food and shelter. When they arrived at the cabin, they arranged themselves to peek in the window. The donkey put his front paws against the side of the cabin. The dog climbed on his back. The cat sat on the dog's shoulders, and the rooster flew up to sit on the cat's head. When looking inside, the rooster spotted some robbers making merry in front of the fire. There was a table spread with all manner of good food. The foursome made a plan to get rid of the robbers. At the donkey's signal, all four of the Brementown musicians began to sing. The donkey brayed, the dog barked, the cat meowed, and the rooster screamed. The frightened robbers ran away from the place, leaving the wonderful feast for the four friends, who happily ate their fill and settled down to sleep. After a time, the most courageous of the robbers decided to come back. All was quiet, and he thought perhaps they had left too hastily. He made his way cautiously into the dark cabin. He saw the cat's eyes looking like two live coals. He took out a match to strike, but the cat sprang in his face and scratched him. He ran for the back door, but the dog jumped up and bit him in the leg. As he crossed the yard, the donkey kicked him. All the while, the rooster screamed, "Cock-a-doodle-doo." The robber made his way back to his companions and hastily told of his encounters in the cabin. "A horrid witch scratched me with her bony fingers. A man with a knife stabbed me, and a monster with a club hit me. And the devil sat on top of the cabin crying, all while calling, 'Bring the rascal here.'" The robbers never dared to go back to that cabin again, and the four friends remain together to this day, making music in the woods.
For years, many Unitarian Universalist congregations have recited the Ames Covenant. It is originally attributed to the Reverend Charles Gordon Ames, a Unitarian of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and editor of the liberal Christian Register. We shared it again a few minutes ago. Today I want to share with you my thoughts about just one of its phrases, words that will serve us well as we continue through the changes we are undertaking into our future. The phrase I want to focus on is a saving message, that is, a message of salvation, which is from the Latin salus, meaning health and wholeness. I trust it will resonate with you. The words are to serve humanity in fellowship. There are two elements in this phrase that have deep meaning for us as Unitarian Universalists and for this congregation. The first is doing our work in fellowship or in connection. The second is serving humanity. Let's look first at working in fellowship. Isn't it a primary motivation of ours to gather together in common purpose? That keeps us coming here. And why do we gather? For the chance to connect and to widen our circle, to serve our community, our congregation, each other, and to expand our sense of usefulness. This idea of fellowship is eloquently described on our UUA website. Open quote. We gather knowing that life is richer in community than when we go it alone. We gather to know and to be known, to comfort and be comforted, to celebrate the mystery that binds us each to all. Close quote. The value of our community gathered together is that each of us becomes part of something greater than our individual selves. Yet each person's individuality is deeply honored and accepted. It's this connection and covenant that create a spiritually vibrant, growing, healing, forgiving, and justice-making fellowship. And it is from this fellowship that we develop the even deeper experience of creating and belonging to our future of being a beloved community. One of my primary aims as a minister is to encourage you to co-create a deep enough experience of connection and mutuality that you become and remain our present version of beloved community, to each other and to the wider world. Quoting Parker Palmer, a masterful Quaker teacher, from his article, 13 Ways of Looking at Community. He says that before we're ready to develop an external community, we must each individually find our capacity for connectedness before community can manifest in outward relationships. Becoming a more inclusive, diverse, and relevant community means that each of us must create a safe and sacred place of trust within ourselves and with others. Palmer also teaches that community is a gift to be received, like grace, rather than primarily an entity that we build. In my experience, it is both. It's something we receive and something we co-create. We want to receive connection in order to have the trusting experience that binds us together in good times and in hard times. And we want to build connection because it makes us stronger than when we go it alone. The second concept of our phrase today is to serve humanity. To serve humanity, including and beginning, as Thich Nhat Hanh exhorts us, with family and friends. Yet beyond these, to become servants of ideals greater than ourselves. Service, as Webster's defines it, is owed to someone or something superior. And that something superior can be called God, core values, humanity, or the common good. In order to be true servants, we have to actually serve, even at some risk. As one major church leader has said, quote, "We have to avoid the spiritual sickness of a self-referential church. It's true that when you get out into the street, there can be accidents. However, if the church remains closed in on itself, self-referential, it gets ill. And between a church that suffers accidents in the street and a church that's sick because it's self-referential, I have no doubt about preferring the former." End quote. By the way, that quote was from Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio before he was elected Pope Francis. That term self-referential, closed in on itself, is a prophetic critique of many religious institutions. Serving humanity in fellowship is about reaching out beyond our walls and risking accidents that may and will occur in a public context. We as Unitarian Universalists must participate in the risks that all religious communities face as we balance caring for our own with caring for our world. As I look around our southern region and wider UU world, I see examples of congregations taking risky public stances on many justice issues, including anti-racism, mental health concerns, climate change, LGBTQ rights, women's moral agency regarding reproductive rights and abortion, justice for undocumented immigrants, persons with disabilities and environmental sensitivities, as well as the extraordinarily ordinary work of caring for those who seek, are hungry, alone, and need our love. This work of serving humanity, especially those who are marginalized, can be indeed risky, because reputations, including ours, can be criticized, and these judgments can have consequences. Yet, serve we must. Let me offer what I believe are some useful guidelines for our ongoing deepening of connection and service. 1. Keep your promises to each other. Keep your financial pledges and your covenants to stick together. 2. Learn from each other. Ask and listen to questions. And listen to the answers we are living into. You see, questions increase our capacity for reflection and for seeing things in a broader context. 3. Resolve your conflicts amicably. When tensions and anxieties arise, remember to step back from the situation and find a way to process the issues and restore your covenant of healthy behaviors. Seek support as needed. And remember, as Thich Nhat Hanh exhorts, love and kindness begin at home. Fourthly, be kind to one another. Continue to do what you already do so well and treat each other like the beloved community you are. All this is to say that to serve humanity in fellowship is our calling. I encourage us to focus on values and aspirations we believe will make us better people, a more beloved community, a better city and county, and a stronger nation. That leads to a fifth skillful guideline. Wherever injustice, racial, economic, ability, gender identity, sexual preference, or class discrimination appear, ask what you can do, and do it. Actions speak louder than words. Be accountable for the issues of our world. You hold your own future. The path to it is about co-creating with others in fellowship. It's also about receiving the grace of community in which to do it, to serve humanity in fellowship. May we move forward in love. May it be so.
At this time in our service, the congregation makes its financial offering. If you have made a pledge or would like to make a contribution, you can simply mail it into the office, or you can make it online. There is a donate button on our YouTube landing page and on our website, uuamarillo.org. On the home page, in the upper right corner, you will find a blue donate button that will take you to a place where you can donate securely through PayPal. If you have made a financial pledge for the year, please, we encourage you to keep up your pledge. And now for announcements. While we are not meeting in person, some groups are still getting together. Nothing Much Buddhist group continues to meet on Mondays at 7:30 using Zoom. Please check their Facebook group for more information. We are reading the book by Dalai Lama, Ethics for a Secular World, and we've had some really enlightening discussions, so we invite anyone who would like to join us, please do so. Our UU Adult Religious Education class is still meeting at 10 a.m. using Zoom, and if you are interested in attending, please contact Lydia Miller. The Summer TED Talk series are back. Please look for more details to come soon. You know, we could not do this without our tech crew. So I want to thank all of the folks here who are helping to make this worship service happen. Thank you to John and Larry for your dedication and care. This could not happen without you. And now, we extinguish this chalice, but not the flame of love and commitment that continues to burn in our hearts until we come again together.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Let me do that again. And now, please join me in our closing words. May the fellowship of this hour touch and move our lives until we come again together.
Here's a final reflection and benediction. Let religion be for us about relationship, about connections, about collaboration, about acting and working together. Let religion be about serving what is true and right, and about the wonder of that which each of us knows only in part and understands partially. And so may we grow in wholeness in our connections, our understanding and wisdom, and carry with us in our hearts each other and the bonds we share in beloved community. It's been good to be with you today. Thank you for the opportunity. Come see us in San Antonio sometime when traveling is once again safe. All the best to you. Amen.